There's some incentive, and she's a manager at Lincoln Center Theater, and that's a beautiful theater. That's just a little less beautiful knowing that.
Here's what investigators are finding: the level of coordination, the professional quality signs and the materials, the organized transportation of protesters, and the sophisticated communication networks all point to significant financial backing that goes far beyond local community organizing. When you see identical tactics being used simultaneously in multiple cities, when you see professional grade equipment and materials, when you see coordinated media strategies, that's not organic community activism. That is professional political operation with serious funding behind it.
But I like how they say that it's nonviolent when they carry signs saying 8647 and by any means necessary. There's obvious violent rhetoric behind it.
The investigation is focusing on financial transactions, communication patterns, and the logistics on how these protesters are organized and funded.
The financial backing of these groups, particularly Antifa, is certainly something the administration is looking into aggressively. And the federal government has never really been mobilized or tasked with doing that. So we're kind of kickstarting that into gear. The FBI is working on it alongside the White House's Homeland Security Task Force. We have our intelligence community looking into this as well. And even the Secretary of Treasury is involved with these matters since they are financial in nature.
Federal authorities want to know who's paying for the transportation, the materials, the coordination, and the sustained presence at ICE facilities.
Here's her outside Trump Tower saying TikTok time's up. Here's her saying ban guns, not drag. Amazing. This is her telling us that lies have consequences. She is also very passionate about abortion. Even in the video right now, she's just wearing a hat that says abortion on it. The company that is paying people like Karen for a second job as a professional protester.
But here's what really matters. If these protesters are being funded by outside organizations specifically to obstruct federal law enforcement operations, that's not protected speech. That's organized obstruction of justice, and it's a federal crime. Now let's talk about what's been happening at the Chicago ICE facility, because this situation has escalated far beyond peaceful protests into active obstruction of federal operations.
Border Patrol Commander at Large Gregory Bovino leading the arrest outside the facility on Friday. DHS says that 13, quote, rioters were arrested during the standoff, with Illinois State Police joining federal law enforcement officers in trying to keep protesters back.
Multiple arrests have been made as protesters attempt to physically block federal agents from conducting their duties. This isn't peaceful protest. This is active interference with federal law enforcement operations.